Welcome to another episode of Making Noise Off the Record. I'm Rob Parker, your host, and joining me today, we've got a very special guest. Back in March 2020, while the rest of us were sat on our backsides just about to go into a lockdown, taking advantage of being able to stay home and binge Netflix, Jamie, who's joined me today, wasn't. He was working very hard on a brand new music project that was hopefully going to propel his career to new heights. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. I'd like to start by talking. We'll get straight into it. Usually maybe we'll go a little bit further back, but we'll get into that a little bit later maybe. I'd like to talk about your new music project. So talk to me a little bit about that. So your name's Jamie.
Yep.
Your music project, which is what I refer to as, but feel free to correct me, is called Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows.
Yep. Yeah, a bit obscure.
I love it.
I was trying to come up with something just a little bit different. I don't know. Jacob's just a slightly more interesting kind of Hebrew, I think, version of James. And I just always loved bands. In my house growing up, my mum just used to kind of flood us with kind of old soul and Motown music. So, you know, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, all that kind of stuff. I've always loved bands that have kind of so and so and the such and such type names. So I just thought I'd go with it. Sounded quite different, but it can be a bit of a tongue twister for DJs and stuff sometimes on the radio.
I've practiced it many times, don't worry. So with Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows, it's you on your own. It's not a band.
It's just me on my own at the minute. We're posh. I do love playing with other people, so it's something I'm thinking about as we start coming out of lockdown again. Whilst we start kind of going out and kind of playing this music, it's something that I would like to explore. But at the minute, just in terms of writing and creating the music, it's just me myself. Working with a producer from the Animal Farm Music down in London, so he produces it for me. So I write and record it up here in Scotland and send it down to him. And we kind of collab until it's right. And
fascinating.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, you're not a stranger to music and to performing, despite Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows being, a very new entity. You yourself, you've performed a lot, particularly over in Germany and up in Scotland, but you haven't yet been able to perform due to the lockdown as this new music project, have you?
No, exactly. So it's been the songs I've been writing for years. This is solo stuff that I've been writing kind of on the side in my own time. So it's just kind of revisiting them and kind of bringing them back, just revisiting them with kind of fresher, more mature eyes, I suppose. As I say, it's been songs I've been writing for years and years. So it's revisiting them, trying to improve them, bring them kind of up to kind of scratch and recording them, getting up to a standard to kind of release and get out there and share with the world. And then, as we kind of get back to normality now, the hope is to kind of get out and performing again and sharing them with the world live, which would be really, really nice to see some faces and hear some music. So
yeah, brilliant. No, I absolutely agree. I'm itching to get back to a live music event. So let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
And when did you first become interested in being a musician? When did you first pick up your guitar or whatever it is that you kind of went to first of all?
Yeah, I think I was about 10, Rob. It was kind of purely by accident. I mean, I always loved music, but I was out with a friend one day and we visited some woman's house. I don't even know who it was. It was someone he knew, a friend of their family, and she had a spare guitar which she was just giving away. And purely because my friend already had a guitar, she was like, "Well, you can have it." And that was it. And that was genuinely just from that random moment. I was like, right, okay, chuffed, great order. Got a wee free guitar
Brilliant.
home. And I just sat and like any young kid, just sat in the bedroom, just teaching myself, just playing all my favourite songs, lots of Bruce Springsteen and Green Day, Manic Street Preachers, all that kind of stuff. Just sat and kind of taught myself it. A few years later, as you become a teenager, started getting into kind of writing songs. Then later at school, started kind of performing, joining bands and things like that. And it just developed from there, really. It was just quite organic. Just a love for music that through that kind of just coincidence, really. Yeah, just grew from that.
So all of that is built up now to this new musical project and your new single, We Are Everything.
Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about that, because I've listened to it a few times now and it is stunning. What a beautiful track.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a nice one. Yeah, it was just one of those that happened. It wasn't. I'm not a very patient person at the best of times. This was last summer, actually. This was a new song, ironically. Most of the project is kind of older songs that I'm revisiting, but this was actually a new song from the middle of lockdown last summer, sitting in my garden with a guitar, and it was just one of those moments you just started plucking away, and the lyrics kind of come to you. So it was a brand new song. It's kind of, I don't know what to compare it to really. It's a little bit. It's a bit of a ballad. It's a bit of a kind of indie pop rock ballad, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a good description.
Yeah, I mean it's a love song, but it's also not really a love song. It's a bit bittersweet. It's a little bit philosophical. But yeah, it's nice. It was one of those that just kind of came naturally. Yeah, so it didn't take long to write at all.
Quite recently released. What's the
just
reaction been like up until this point? Have you had some good feedback from it?
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been getting a good bit of airplay. It's been getting some shares and things, so it's nice. But yeah, no, really good feedback so far. Yeah,
Great.
it's
Now,
sorry, on you go.
no, I was just going to say we are going to listen to it on the radio show, Making Noise on Pure West Radio on Monday. If people are impatient and don't want to wait until then, where can they find We Are Everything?
Yeah, no, just go and check it out on all the kind of major streaming platforms. So it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all the major ones. You'll find it on there.
I don't think they're going to struggle finding you. I don't think there's another Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows out there.
No, that's for sure.
That's one benefit of the name. It might be a tongue twister, but it's definitely unique. You're not going to get confused with another artist.
Well, as you say, you have to force yourself to train to say it. So although it can sometimes be hard to remember, once you remember it, you won't forget it.
It sticks in the mind for sure. Yeah. What's the future then for the project? Is it something that you're hoping to continue to grow, continue to develop? Have we got more new music coming from Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows?
There's another single. There's a follow-up single coming in June. I would need to check the date. I think it's the 10th of June. You can follow my socials for more updates. But yeah, it's so a little bit more upbeat, this one, just as a little bit of a contrast. So a little bit more of an upbeat song. And we're just kind of taking it from there. We're just kind of releasing singles kind of periodically. We're working up to an EP at some point. That would be nice to kind of put together an EP. It's just the kind of current times, isn't it? It's all about kind of individual songs. My dream growing up was always to kind of write and get an album produced, but people just don't really buy albums anymore, do they?
No, it might be just a case of releasing, a good number of singles and then putting them all together, as an album.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the ambition. We'll just be kind of working towards that periodically. Brilliant. And obviously kind of getting it out when we can and trying to play them live and things. It'll be good.
Well, hearing what we've heard, you would assume that I know you yourself are a seasoned professional, but you'd assume that Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows was very much an established act. And like I said, it's really fantastic. We're going to be listening to the track on Monday on Making Noise live on Pure West Radio. I'd love for you to send over anything new that you do as well, and we'll give that some airtime as well.
I'll be delighted. So thanks,
Rob. We'll definitely have to keep in touch. Like I said, love to get you down to little old Pembrokeshire and West Wales to maybe do some gigs as well. That'd be great.
That'd be nice. Yeah, absolute pleasure.
Make sure that you tune in, guys, to Pure West Radio on the 19th. That's this coming Monday at 9 p.m. purewestradio.com. If you are listening or watching this after that date, then don't worry, you can go to making-noise.com and you'll be able to listen back to the full episode of Making Noise on Pure West Radio. Jacob, thank you so much. Jamie, see, here's the confusion. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, we'll keep in touch, and whatever you're up to in the future, we'd love to follow your career.
That sounds great. Thanks very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. You're welcome. As I said, tune in now on Monday to hear more from Jacob and the Starry Eyed Shadows.